All right, Bart with Bicycle Rider YouTube, and you guys know I'm a gravel bike fan. Gravel bikes open up a world of opportunity to multiple groups of cyclists, and I have been riding multiple different gravel bikes over the years. So not only do I gravel race, I'm qualified because I actually am a gravel guide. I guide multiple different groups at multiple different speeds, including some high-speed racing, guys that want to rip your legs off, compared to, and also, you know, first-time gravel riders and everything in between. So I ride a lot of different gravel bikes here. I own a little bike shop called Biloxi Bicycle Works. I'm not there today. Monday's my day off, but I'm so excited about this bike and just had some great experiences on it. So I wanted to talk about it firsthand. And that's how I do my YouTube channel. This is Bicycle Rider YouTube. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe because we are real. I don't have a script, and a lot of times I talk about more about how a bike feels or purposes of the bike than I do every single spec. There's a lot of great YouTube reviewers out there. There's a lot of websites that'll tell you every spec of this bike. You know, and I know the general spec. I know it, you know, this, well, I'll touch base. I'll start on the frame. The frame is a OCLV carbon fiber. It's a great bike, and it has been refreshed. This is the Generation 3. This is the newest generation. It just came out this year. I do know the Generation 2s real well. As far as that goes, I have a Trek Checkpoint SL5. So that's an aluminum model of the Generation 2, the previous generation, that I ride on a regular basis. I do a lot of urban assaults. I ride from my house to work quite a bit. I commute on that bike. I also lead a lot of group rides on that bike. And that ALR4, it's got an Apex 11, group set on it. So it's not an electronic group set on that bike, but it's a very good group set. But as soon as I can go Apex with the SRAM Apex electronic, man, that is fantastic. So let me finish talking about this new frame. They have re-engineered the frame. Of course, now they've got a race model, which is the Checkmate, and then the all-around gravel bike, which is a Checkpoint. I am a gravel racer. I race Mississippi Gravel Cup. And the last year I was fortunate enough to make it on an overall podium. So not only do I race, I try to race at a high level. You know, in the past I've won several gravel races. Last year I didn't win any gravel races, but it was a point series. So sometimes when a point series, it's about being consistent. I was consistent enough to make the overall podium, and that was my goal. Sometimes if you're jumping in on a point series and you can give it all for one race, you know, that's great. Caveat, I do own a bicycle shop. Bicycle shop owners work a lot. We don't get to ride our bikes as much. When I was an accountant, I could ride my bike a whole lot more. Now that I own a bike shop, I work a lot. So, of course, gravel racing season happens right after Christmas and New Year's. Christmas and New Year's is a super busy time in the shop. I don't have a ton of employees. I'm a hands-on owner, and I am in the trenches with my employees at the shop. So during, you know, December and January, when everybody else is training and taking time off work, believe me, the bike shop owner is working more than he ever has. So no excuses on me not winning any overall podiums last year, but it just hits me in a weird time. So I just don't have time to train enough to do that. But having good equipment, having equipment that is rock solid, having equipment that is tuned up and can be consistent helps me hit that overall podium. I did not have a mechanical failure on my Trek Checkpoint last year, and I don't expect any this year. You never know in racing what's going to happen if you get pushed off the side of the course, and you've got to do some quick repairs, and you know, a lot of that comes with just the territory of racing bikes. But I like having a very solid bike to start with, and Trek Checkpoint is a very solid bike. I've raced several other bikes. I've raced, Cannondale Topstone. I did real good for a few years on my Specialized Diverge. I thought that bike was the cat's meow. You know, that was my favorite gravel bike. And when I switched from a Specialized dealer, and I'm not going to say anything bad about Specialized bikes, they make great bikes, to a Trek dealer. Of course, you know, I started riding Treks, and all of a sudden it opened my eyes. What I thought was good, because I was very brand specific to Specialized. Now that I'm riding other bikes, I find out that there's definitely a lot of other choices out there. So, you know, nothing wrong with being brand loyal. I know some people that are just brand loyal to Trek, and they are because, you know, they've bought a lot of Treks over the years, and those Treks have treated them right, and Trek as a company treats people right, and bike shops right. So I'm riding a Trek Checkpoint now, and I like it better than my Specialized Diverge. The Specialized Diverge had some drop chainstays, and I thought I liked that design. Now that I'm back on a traditional rear triangle bike, I like it better. You know, it is nice on these SL models that they do have the ISO coupler on here, and that does add quite a bit of comfort to the design of this frame. It mitigates those jarring vibrations that you get from urban city riding, from the gravel roads, from rougher roads, and it keeps that fatigue down. When I'm commuting back and forth, I don't wear bicycle shorts, and bicycle shorts add that layer of vibration dampening right where it matters. So when I'm riding back and forth to work, I don't even need my bicycle shorts. When I'm out there, you know, smashing gravel or doing an urban assault, putting in some log miles, yeah, I absolutely wear my spandex and my bicycle shorts. But the frame is very comfortable on these SL models, on the carbon fiber models. Like I said, I'm riding an aluminum bike, but we also rent bikes at Biloxi Bicycle Works, and one of the bikes I picked to rent because it's so solid is the Trek Checkpoint Gen 2 SL6. So the SL6 is a bike that I was renting out. I took one of the rentals and made it my bike this year. So that's what I'm actually going to be racing on the gravel series, is a Trek SL carbon fiber gravel bike, a reused rental bike. People trash rental equipment. I've got to be careful what I put out on my rental fleet. And I have to say, out of the 4 Trek Checkpoint SL6 models, none of them have been destroyed by rental use. You know, I've had a couple people crash, and that's what they do, you know, but they're still in my rental fleet. And those have the SRAM electronic shifting on them as well. I really like the 12-speed electronic shifting of the SRAM on something like a gravel bike, something like this bike here, that you can use for more than one purpose. And that's why I like the SL model. Of course, as a gravel racer, you know, I have dreams of having a Checkmate. I mean, but it just suits me as a bicycle shop owner, someone that does multiple rides. Sometimes I might even do some bike packing from the shop. So it's nice having the multiple mounting points to mount, you know, the bags and racks and stuff up to. But then running it naked, it's a great race bike. This is a size 58. So this is I should call this an extra large. You know, Trek has changed their sizing this year. And really, I can get some of these Trek Checkpoints now to fit a rider from 4'8", which is very short, to over 6 feet, 7 feet. So I can get this. The XL is a big bike. This is bigger than the Generation 2 bikes. I had several customers that were too big for the previous generation bike, so they bought, you know, like Cannondale makes a big size bike. So the Topstone is a great gravel bike that was sized up, but I had some people that were Trek fanboys that really wanted a Trek, ended up getting a Cannondale, and I do sell Cannondale, so Cannondale's a good brand. But I'm really happy that this Generation 3 of the Checkpoint will fit a tall rider. So I have several customers coming back to get, well, actually, this is one of them right here. This is a funny story about this bike and the geometry. They've changed the geometry this year. So your stack height is a little bit higher, bottom bracket is a little bit higher, and your stem is a little bit shorter. He was riding the previous version, the Gen 2 version, and he liked that bike, but he's one of these guys that, you know, he wants a new bike every year. So as soon as they came out with a Gen 3, he wanted the Gen 3. He asked for a adjustable stem, because he thought he'd have to raise this stem up to fit him like he had to do on his other bikes. And I told him that the geometry had changed, but I tell people the bike is your canvas and I'll paint it any way you want. He wanted a riser stem on this bike, and now you can see he's going to take this riser stem off and put his stock stem back on. But he had to try the riser stem on this bike. But because of the geometry changes in the Gen 3, he doesn't need more rise. The frame itself is doing the job for him. So those are just the little difference. When you change a millimeter two, or a head tube angle just a little bit, or seat tube angle, it does make a difference in this bike. And this customer is very in tune with his bikes. He's very happy that he doesn't need the riser stem anymore. So that's just where this Generation 3 is a little bit different. And they can make this bike sit a little bit more upright, because the customer buying this bike generally is buying a gravel bike for multi-purposes. They're not just racing. I'm going to race mine, but, you know, owning a bike shop is tough nowadays. I don't make the kind of money I used to when I was an accountant, so I just can't afford everything that I want. Even though I get, you know, EP discounts, you know, the bike shops aren't making much money. So that brings me to my next point is, you know, buy where you ride, or support your local bicycle shop. If you've got a local Trek dealer, definitely go by the local Trek dealer and, you know, and support them. We get a lot of people buying their bikes off the internet right now, and then they bring them to us when they have a problem. And I try to be a nice guy and fix them a lot of times, but it is nice to buy where you ride. You know, if there's something to having a local bike shop in your neighborhood, and they're disappearing all over the country. So support your local bike shop. If you don't buy your bike there, buy a water bottle from them, or a t-shirt or something. I know this as a small businessman, how much we're struggling in the bicycle industry right now. And I love this industry. I want to be in this industry for the rest of my life. I don't want to go back to accounting and get a real job. So moral of the story is support your local bike shop, because your local bike shop should be supporting you. I know I do a lot for my community, and I'm happy to do it. And in turn, you know, we've got a lot of ridership now. Again, you know, when I go riding gravel, we get a lot of people that come ride gravel. But back to the bike review. I've been talking about the frame for 5 minutes, but I'm excited about this bike. I really like the bigger storage area that this bike has, and I like it's got a nice locking mechanism. When you put this on, you realize it is on there, and it's not falling off when you're got this on your bike rack. I mean, that rack is on there. So it is a little bit bigger than last year. So of course, you know, you've got your tube storage in here with your tools and stuff. And I'm really getting spoiled with that feature. That's an awesome feature to have. I like keeping everything nice and organized. And this bike is long enough that I can actually put my rain jacket. I've got a Pearl Izumi shell that I can shove up in here, my vest. I can put a burrito in there, you know. You don't have the tool storage on this anymore, because that tool storage was adding, you know, a little bit of you know, girth to this. And now you can just put your tool storage in your tube. So I really like the way that they've done this new trap door. It's awesome. Speaking of awesome, so is this color. This is like a black carbon smoke and gloss mix. Trek is knocking it out of the park with their colors. I don't know if my camera is picking this up, but this is almost like an Easter egg pattern. It looks super, super cool. And I don't know how many comments I've had in the shop of people saying the bikes look better in person than they do on the website. It's another reason to go into your local bike shop instead of just buying on the internet. Like, go see these things in person. This bike is absolutely stunning. And you can see about this ISO dampener here. This is how it decouples from the frame in here. It's a very simple setup, a very light setup, and it works really, really well. The front end of this bike has a lot of vibration dampening through the carbon fiber. So with the OCLV 500, it's not quite as stiff as the SLR model, the race model. So this bike has a lot of compliance built into it. This is the SL5 model, so it comes in multiple models. The SL5 model, price point wise, was I believe was a little over $3,000. The size 58 is a 21-pound bike, so they give you a lot a lot of bike at a little weight. They even give you a carbon fiber seat post on this bike, and it's not a proprietary seat post. This is a 27.2. It is routed for a dropper seat post if you want it, but they give you a really nice lightweight carbon seat post on it that, you know, gives you a bit of a compliance as well. I like the Verse saddles. When I was a Specialized dealer, you know, I used a lot of their saddles, and I thought that those were the best saddles on the market. And that was without me trying a lot of other saddles. I really like the short nose Verse saddle. I like it better than my Specialized saddle. This year they've come out with a new tire too. So the Girona, and I might be saying it wrong, I think it references an area in Spain, but the Girona tire in a 50 millimeter, so this is the Girona RSL. This is a 60 TPI tire, it's lightweight, the new tread pattern that rolls really good. I'm still rolling my GR1s. The echo through the cycling community is that those are slow tires. Don't believe everything you hear. Go ride them for yourself. Well, now you don't have to ride them. You can ride one with the Girona tire. I do a lot of urban assault out of the shop, so we use our gravel bikes more than just to go pound the gravel. We pound the urban environment with these things. We do it every Wednesday night. We've got an urban assault from Biloxi Bicycle Works. Leaves the shop after dark this time of the year at about 6:15. It's a hammer fest, and those of us that are doing it on a gravel bike enjoy that hammer fest way more than those on a traditional road bike. One thing about urban, it can get rough. It can be rougher than being out there on the gravel road. So when you got to hop a curb, go across the gravel parking lot, go across some grass, get on the fast pavement, go across the bridge. The bridge has these expansion joints. Man, my Checkpoint hits those expansion joints like butter. Really a good riding bike and fast. So we put the hammer down on those rides. But like I said, as a ride leader, as someone that owns a shop, I have to do multiple rides. I do fitness rides at a slower pace for people that are bringing their fitness levels up. I do fast rides, I do time trials, I do races, I do just regular exploratory gravel. So I've got all kinds of nicknames for the different levels of gravel and the different time we spend in the saddle. Like some of our rides might be under 10 miles at a slow pace. Some of them are over 100 miles at a fast pace. And it's nice to have one bike that'll do it all. And the gravel bike is the king of that one bike. We've got some pretty manageable mountain bike trails around here. So a lot of people ride their gravel bike on the mountain bike trails. I have a full suspension mountain bike, and there's a lot of routes back there. I prefer my mountain bike when I'm on the mountain bike trails. But it is nice to know that you can visit Biloxi, Mississippi. If you're carrying one bike, it's probably going to be your gravel bike. You could hit our road group, you could hit our mountain bike group, you can hit our gravel group, or you could do everything in between. Speaking of in between, we do a lot of what's called mixed surface riding out here. So that means we've got a few miles of pavement mixed with gravel, mixed with maybe a little single track. And it is very interesting. And a bike like this is perfect for that because it is comfort. You know, part of the mystique of gravel riding is getting off your bike and exploring. And when you are on some of these gravel roads, you can go stop at a bridge and go see what's underneath that bridge, maybe find an arrowhead or, you know, some cool clay or something. And that's part of gravel riding. That's what we do. And that's why I think the SL is that great bike at a price point that'll let you do multiple things comfortably. But yet, when you want to go race this thing, strip it down and it's lightweight. When you have basically a 61 centimeter gravel bike, something that's got some tire and some rims, it's got aluminum rims. This doesn't have the highest end rims. Like I said, this bike's a little over $3,000. It's hard to throw a $3,000 bike with carbon rims on it, but they do give you a 25 millimeter aluminum rim that's built really well. This is the Paragon SL rim. The new carbon wheels that Trek has have a 30 millimeter, which is nice, but you know, a lot of people buy a bike like this, they ride the heck out of it, and when it's time for their next big upgrade, that's what they do. They get some carbon wheels. You throw some carbon wheels on this, you don't have to do anything else. On the road, so A lot of pure roadies, they get on a big bar like this, and this has got a 3mm sweep on each end of the bar, so it's a total of 6mm. A lot of pure roadies aren't used to that. They're not used to the wider stance, but when you're out on the gravel roads, it's nice to have the leverage of a wider bar. Or if you're coming from a mountain bike, rather than transitioning straight to road, the gravel's kind of where it's at, and you feel a little bit more at home with a wider bar. A lot of people that are riding their gravel bikes on the road, you know, aren't the A group. Most of the time, the A groups are pure roadies. I like the pure roadies. I'm a roadie myself. I don't call myself pure because I really do mix it up with multiple different styles of cycling, but I like riding with the A group. When I say I could ride my gravel bike everywhere, it would be really hard for me to keep up with A group on a gravel bike. B group, C group around here, I can do it all day long. That A group is fast, man, and I really need my Aero road bike to even hang with those guys. But what's nice is during the week, I could ride this thing all week long and get my fitness during the week back and forth to work. I don't have to put my bike in my car and go out to some specific areas to ride. I can ride urban. I can ride our beach boardwalk we have right here in Biloxi, Mississippi. We have like 60 miles of beach boardwalk. It's not perfect bicycle path. There's sand on it. There's some broken concrete. But what's nice, it's off the road and on the beach. This bike is awesome. I take roadies out there, and they don't like it. I don't like to use the word hate, but those pure roadies want to be out on the open road and doing a pace line. I get it. I like doing that as well. But actually, I'm having so much more fun on my gravel bike. I've transitioned a lot to urban riding with a group. Luckily, I own a bike shop, so it's easy for me to get these groups together. And when people try it, they like it. When people try a gravel bike, they like it. Some of my rental bikes I give as loaners when we're fixing someone's road bike. If you could just get a roadie on a gravel bike, and they're like, especially someone with a little bit of age, I'm 55 years old. I want a little comfort, but still have that needs for speed. The gravel bike does a great job of it. The Checkpoint is an awesome gravel bike for the money. Of course, as you start going up in level, you start going up in price. So I think that the SL5 is a very good value. I forget exactly what this bike costs, a little over $3,000. And you're getting electronic SRAM, electronic shifting. You're getting an awesome OCLV 500 frame. The geometry is great. It's comfortable, solid parts, internal cable routing. And as a bicycle mechanic, Trek has done a really good job with this internal cable routing system. It's not a pain in the butt to work on, and internal routing on some bikes are such a pain in the butt to work on. Pain in the butt, yeah, it's pain in the butt for the mechanics, but what that does is take us more time, which we have to charge you for our time. So this bike is a lot less to work on if I have to replace, you know, some hydraulic cables or something like that, and there's really not a whole lot of reason I have to do that. But if I have to cut cables and go through it, I can rerun cables to this frame fairly easy. This frame even has guides. I believe the Checkmate doesn't have guides. With guides, it makes it super quiet, so your cables are insulated from that carbon frame. It adds a couple grams. When you're on a Checkmate, every gram counts. That's a full-on race bike, and they're not worried about the cables making a little bit of noise in the frame. But I mean, speaking of noise, like this bike even has an awesome chain guard. 11 to 40 gear ratio on the back of this one, and a 40 tooth on the front with you know, a front chain ring guide that keeps the chain from popping off. And really it's the derailleur that does a lot of that. That's the Explorer system, so it is made for a rougher terrain. I don't drop chains on this bike. It is capable of putting a front derailleur on, so a lot of people are buying one bike to do multiple purposes. If you did want to put a dual chain ring, and there's reasons why you might want to do that. I think the gear ratio on this is great for what I do, but there's a lot of people that crush big gears, and I believe you can put a 44 chain ring on the front. And with SRAM, all the road derailleurs, everything's compatible with SRAM electronics, so you can mix and match your drivetrains on this bike and reprogram it with basically the touch of a button or an app. So that makes it really nice if you do have one bike to do multiple things. I can't say enough good about this bike. The hoods are super comfortable. The brakes are very, very solid. They work awesome. You even have different size. I think this can go up to 180 millimeter rotors if you wanted to change your brake configuration. But a bike like this, actually this is an upgradable bike. You could ride this thing solid, but for like an SL5, you can get into this at a good price point. And you get a bonus at work. If you wanted to throw some upgrades on this bike, you could throw some upgrades on this bike. But this gets you into gravel riding in a carbon fiber frame, lightweight model that you can actually just hammer it out. I know a lot of roadies or a lot of triathletes, then we have $10,000 pluses into our bikes. And when I tell them that this bike like this is a little over $3,000, they're like, what's wrong with it? $3,000 is a bargain to a lot of us that are used to spending that for a wheel set, and you get a whole bike for this. And these bikes are freaking amazing. More and more riders are converting to gravel bikes for a reason. Even if they don't go out there and ride gravel all the time. Now, here outside of Biloxi, Mississippi, we have some awesome gravel roads. Come by Biloxi Bicycle Works. If you're passing through and you want some gravel, I'll point you in the right direction, or if I have time, I'll go ride with you. Come with us on some of our group rides. We have a blast out of Biloxi Bicycle Works, and we have a blast on gravel bikes. I'm very experienced in gravel bikes. I've ridden a lot of different gravel bikes, and I have to say, for a mainstream company like Trek is one of the bigger ones. So there's a lot of, I've ridden the Allied gravel bike. That thing was awesome. I've ridden a Rodeo, I've ridden Marin, I've ridden Specialized, I've ridden Cannondale, I've ridden Scott. I've ridden a lot of awesome gravel bikes, but the Checkpoint to me is my favorite. It just seems to ride the best. And yes, I do sell Trek. I sell Trek for a reason. That's why I sell Trek. I like the Trek bikes. I like the way they ride. I like the warranty. I like this big company to back me up if I have a problem. That's one thing about having a brick and mortar shop. If you have a problem, you walk up the stairs and you talk to me. I talk to you, we figure it out, and I file a warranty claim. Trek has my back. That keeps me in business. So people buy multiple bikes from me, or they tell their friends to come buy bikes from Bart or Biloxi Bicycle Works because we have their back, and Trek has people's backs on the warranty. So anyway, this is a fantastic bike. If you're looking for a gravel bike, kind of in the middle range, this could be your winner here. The SL5 is a fantastic bike with a lot of capability to make this fit multiple purposes. And you don't have to change anything. You could ride this as is. You can ride it as a road bike. You can ride it as a gravel bike. You can ride it as an explorer bike. You can ride it as a commuter. You can ride it as a bike camping bike. There's a lot of things you can do on this bike. I know, ask me about it. That's just the thing. If you do have a Trek dealer, support your local Trek dealer. If you don't, you're anywhere on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, or you have questions, call me at Biloxi Bicycle Works. I'm a real person. I ride real bikes in the bike shop 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Actually, as the owner, I work every day. But business hours are Tuesday through Saturday. So, and Saturdays we show up late because we're out riding bikes. Sunday, we're usually riding bikes with our community. My day off Monday, I'm dealing with bikes. This is Monday, I'm dealing with bikes. So the bike shop owner never stops, and I do like this industry. I love this industry. So keep bike shops alive, support your local bike shop. Appreciate you all watching my video on the Trek Checkpoint SL. I want to do more on these bikes. So any questions, call me up, hit me up at the bike shop. And if you're around Biloxi, Mississippi, just stop in, talk to me in person. Sometimes I can't get to the phone, or I might be working on a bike, but stop in and talk to me. Bart from Biloxi Bicycle Works, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube, Bart Luther on Facebook. There's so many ways that I can say I'm a real person, and I don't hide who I am. So Bart, Bicycle Rider YouTube, thanks for supporting my channel, and definitely check out the Trek Checkpoint if you're interested in an awesome new gravel bike.